Hello and welcome to Canon Snapshots. I'm Jamie Crawford, and in this series of video tutorials I'll be guiding you through the functions, menus and buttons on your camera to teach you what each one does and help you make the most of your Canon DSLR. For every camera in the range, we're offering you an easy to navigate user's guide. Select one of the functions and we'll link you to a video tutorial that explains how it works, what it does, and most importantly, how that will impact your photographs. Aperture refers to the diameter of the hole that lets light into your camera, and it controls what is and isn't in focus in your photos. Selecting the AV function gives you control over the aperture value, leaving the camera to work out the rest and ensure correct exposure. Roll the dial to the left or the right, and that increases or decreases the aperture, making the hole wider or narrower. Different lenses have different capabilities. This 50mm lens ranges from f-stop 1.4, where the hole the light's coming in is incredibly wide, all the way up to f22, where the hole is very narrow. But how does all this affect your photographs? Well, I'm going to show you with the help of our models, Ava and Olivia. If I choose the lowest possible aperture, or f-stop, that means there's a very shallow depth of field, which gives me very little depth of focus in the photograph. I'm going to choose 1.4 right at the bottom of the range, and you'll see that as I take the picture, only Ava's face is in focus while Olivia behind her is completely blurred. At the other end of the scale, increasing the f-stops right up to f22, the highest possible aperture, you can see it's a completely different look. This time, Ava's in focus in the front, Olivia's in focus in the back, and in fact the whole thing is in focus all the way from the front to the back of the photograph. So, to recap, AV gives you control of the aperture while the camera works out the rest. Choose a low aperture value, or f-stop, and you'll ensure a shallow depth of field with blurred backgrounds. This is perfect for portraits of people or pets. Select a high f number, or aperture, and this gives you focus all the way from the front to the back, a bigger depth of field, ideal for landscapes. Now it's your turn. Select the AV setting, play around with the aperture, and see what works best for you.